welcome to Chanakya's Face Off. Today we have with us a very, very eminent guest, Dr. R.Vaidyanathan, retired professor of finance at IIM Bangalore.
Thank you very much, Mala. Thanks a lot for that kind introduction.
Sir, I want to ask you about the recent migrant laborers issue that is happening in Tamil Nadu. I have multiple questions in this regard, but before I ask my questions, I want to have your initial views on this topic, sir.
See, this migrant labor issue is, in a sense, quite a number of people have expected this to happen. What has happened over a long period of time, particularly in this part of the century, quite a number of people from other states have moved into Tamil Nadu in construction, retail trade, and retail trade, I mean, in terms of salespeople, and hotels and restaurant in terms of servers, and other type of plumber, fitter, carpenter, painter, and other type of dog walker, car washer, hundreds of these, plus quite a number in the textile industry of Coimbatore, Erode, and other places. And recently, a couple of years before onward, they are also into agriculture in terms of plowing the fields and cutting and various other assorted type of work. Why this has happened is quite a very interesting explanations can be given. One is Tamil Nadu reached its fertility rate below 2 much earlier than other states. So the reproductive rate is around 1.8, 1.7 or something. And so Tamil Nadu was very reasonably successful along with Kerala and other states in population control from the beginning of the century, last century itself. So we don't have as many number of youngsters as it is in the some of the other parts of the country. One. Second is good number of skilled labor have moved to Middle East. This has started in the 1990s and continued. So huge amount of outflow of skilled labor into Middle East from Kerala as well as from Tamil Nadu. So if you are very skilled, they prefer it, and obviously, in any of these I was mentioning, they have moved into Middle East, and of course they are sending good amount of remittances and other thing to their states. That's a separate issue. So from and the third is there is not a significant amount of industry started in the earlier part of the last century later part of the last century as well as earlier part of the century in the north. Even though there was a propaganda that Terku Tegiride, Vadakku Valargiride, that is north is growing, south is this is the most bogus propaganda ever seen. This was started by Annadurai. Very interestingly, actually what took place in India is reverse. What is the reverse? We started with freight equalization policy, which is a very unique policy in the whole world. That means the coal produced in, let's say, Jharkhand, at the pit head, the price of 1 kg of coal will be same as that in Bangalore or Chennai. In order to benefit the places where they don't produce these natural resources, which is absurd actually. In the sense, you go to US, you go to Germany, you go to any of the industrialized country, all the major industries came around the coal belt or iron belt. It's not far away from the coal belt or iron belt. Natural advantage. But here, under Mahalan objection, it was felt that we should not discriminate against South. And in the process, we discriminated significantly against Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Bihar and others. Otherwise, they all should be flourishing with industries. All our, BHEL, BEML, HMT, everything was located in South. In those days, predominantly public sector enterprises only. So actually, it was the reverse. South was growing, North was not having any adequate amount of industries. It is the actual situation.
Is it also because of the colonial impact, sir? Because Madras presidency was a very big presidency and it was very, flourishing presidency during the British region.
Calcutta was also flourishing.
Calcutta was also, yeah.
Bombay also started for it. No, that was this is a deliberate decision of the government of India to the freight equalization policy. Ashok Mitra, one of the CPIM ministers, Bengal, my teacher at Calcutta. Anyhow, he wrote extensively on this freight equalization, how it is damaging these states which produce this raw material. Anyhow, so the point I want to stress is there is a at that time Logia was one of the major leaders. Ramanohar Logia was actually the father of father mean not literally but politically of all this Malayam Singh Yadav and Lalu Prasad Yadav. He was a great socialist, Ramanohar Logia. He was the first one to propound this caste-based politics in India. Before that, only it was communist. He told communist things may not work. This caste-based politics will work. Anyhow, he was asked why all the industries are coming in south, and he replied very nicely. They are all, all our boys up, and why are you bringing this issue? If south is growing, India is growing. So very fascinating type of. Today, I don't think any one single leader you will find who will say, if another state is growing, I am also growing. Nobody will say. Anyhow, because today we have become very parochial compared to that time. So the point is, lack of industries in those states is, and that is the reason why some of the political leaders belonging to the Dravidian stock, they ridicule that they are Panipuri walas and they are, uh, this they are not having adequate amount of. So this was another thing. So there was a significant movement of labor from those parts of the country to south. And not only in Tamil Nadu, they are very significantly present in Bangalore region, Secunderabad region, and all the places. And another thing is, not all of them are northeast. In Tamil Nadu, everybody north of Gumudi Bundi is called Northi. It is not. Many of them are from Kerala, from Orissa, from West Bengal, and Bangladesh also. And some Rohingyas also possibly. One
Rohingyas.
doesn't know. Yeah. So, not all of them are northern. North, essentially, what they mean perhaps is Bihar and UP. But that's relatively. Anyhow, in Tamil Nadu, everybody is a. If I don't recognize somebody else, he is a northerner. That's all very simple. In the
What is the
earlier part,
economic
they used to,
uh,
you know,
what is the
the earlier
economic
part, they used to
impact
say,
that will happen, sir? What is the economic impact that will happen to Tamil
I just
Nadu?
say that. In the
Yeah,
earlier part, all people from south were called Madrasis. Same way they are now. The reverse we are doing.
right.
Now, my estimate, your estimate is as good as mine. Many of the other experts are telling 40 to 60 lakhs are there in Tamil Nadu. My estimate is 80 to 100 lakh are there. If you take all the industries put together and other thing, quite a number of them are working. And so there is a huge amount of value addition due to them. Some people ask what is their contribution. Their work itself is their contribution. And in some, say, construction industry, I know some people who are in that development of these apartments and other thing. They are telling foundation and other thing, Tamil labor is quite okay. But for finishing work, interiors and then other type of electrical and other thing, we require these people only. One particular construction magnate, he brought a plane load of these people because there was a time element and he wanted to finish his project quickly. That was a couple of years before. So there is a skill issue also. As I told you, good skilled people move to Middle East. Now we find in the last 4-5 years, from UP also people are going to Middle East. This is something interesting. So it's not something only Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Other states are also slowly, wherever opportunities are available. But unfortunately, now what is happening? Middle East itself is having its own, what one can call slowdown. So to that extent, additional labor absorption is relatively low. And even the remittances from Middle East are lesser compared to remittances from Europe and US today. It has come down earlier.
Sir, if
So
so much of
the
our skilled laborers are in,
economic impact is going to be very severe.
Mhm.
This is understood by many knowledgeable people, experts, and business people in Tamil Nadu. And so, what has happened is the DMK leadership is realizing and trying to minimize the rhetoric against Northerners. Recently, Stalin has released one advertisement appealing to northern people not to worry about this
It
in
was released
Hindi.
in Hindi. Mm.
Hindi, and he has also released another one about this what you may loosely call that Holi festival,
Mm.
congratulating them and other thing. He has never released anything for Diwali or anything. Anyhow, and uh, and it is propagated by. You see, the media is completely controlled by DMK. Let's be very clear about it. They will never publish anything against the. Uh, so they are telling these northern labor are all leaving due to Holi. It is not true, because if it is true, then quite a number should be moving from Bangalore and Secunderabad and other places. And Holi is not such a major festival in Orissa or other type of eastern states. Anyhow, that's what they would like to assure themselves. Now, what has
Yeah.
happened? There has been rhetoric against this North for a long period of time. If you go back to the 50s and 60s, newspaper, those days only print papers were there, like Janatandi, Malay Morus, quite a number of paper. They all used to publish cartoons. Unbelievable. The northerner will be represented as a Rakshasa with a gada in hand with all spikes and other thing. The Tamil will be a small, baby, like an angel, with the wings, and before this, like this, it will be standing. In other words, the image which is created over a long period of time is that we are victims. We are the sort of a suffering. All these things have, and over a long period of time, for instance, many of the ministers in the DMK cabinet, they ridicule the northerners as pani puri walas and these bhaji walas and other things. And a very reasonably knowledgeable, one can say, I don't know, this Maran says, Dayanandi Maran, who is the younger brother of the Sun TV empire, he says this Pichai is head of Google, and Nadella is head of Microsoft and all these things because they learnt English. Most absurd type of an argument. They were never made yet due to their knowledge of English. Enough people are there in US and England who know English. Their domain knowledge and their expertise and other things. What he says is, because they know English, they became head. If only they had not known English and studied Hindi, they would be selling panipuri, or they would be gurkhas. It's the most absurd type of argument. So this type of propaganda has been going on for a long period of time. Let's be very clear about it. It's not yesterday or today. So what has happened is this sense of victimhood, along with that way of being, along with the antagonism or created. There were one report which came in the videos also about which was quoted by that Bihari, Kishore, over to the worries of
Prashant
the
Krishna.
Bihari, because a person hits another fellow telling you are from north. Why are you trying to come to our place? It's in a
He
train
also
actually.
translated that in
Yeah,
Bihari or Hindi, and he, yeah, released it
yeah.
in his Twitter.
So that is one thing. There was another report which came in Denagamalar or Denamani or something. One fellow was lost in East Coast Road actually. He was dropped by some truck or tractor or something, and he was trying. He didn't know where to go. He was looking here and there. 5 or 6 others from Madras, they thought he is a thief and bet him up, and unfortunately he was killed. This also took place. This came in papers, and so some of these type of and nowadays you see the news spread like anything because of mobile phone, because of social media. It's not like the 50s or 60s where this Dravidian leaders can say one thing in Delhi, say another thing in Chennai, say the third thing in Trichy. that they used to practice very commonly. In Delhi,
Sir,
they will say,
leaving behind the Dravidian leaders, sir, people like Seeman who speak for Tamil Desiyam and other thing. So Seeman has made a statement that he doesn't have problem with migrant laborers working here, but if they happen to get their voting rights, then it would be definitely again a
yeah, yeah.
setback to him. So
Yes,
how do you see this as their impact to Tamil Nadu politics is a big thing, right? So can they be game changers in future?
yes, yes, definitely. You see, Seaman is some people consider him as a clown, but I don't. He's a very dangerous fellow, actually. He's the type of politics and other thing. So, before poll, for instance, DMK leaders announced 75% of the job market in Tamil Nadu should be available only to Tamils. First of all, whether there are enough Tamils to occupy the 75% of the job market is another question. And so, what I want to say is these type of ideas were spreading very fast. And earlier, the ration was also denied to them. Now there are some steps taken to provide, one ration card for the country. So that type
Okay.
of a thing. And similarly, and many of them may not be interested in going to the polling booth as of now, and voting and other thing. But one doesn't. So Seeman is also asking about inner line permit and registration of these people,
Inner
and
requirement. Yes.
is I do not think his type of politics will take him too much away, because there is a huge
Sir,
number of
he
people
he
from
quotes that this kind of permits are available in the northern states,
not in all northern state, only
certain
Nagaland,
northern states. Yeah.
northeast
So,
Nagaland mainly.
mhm.
And see, one point you have to remember: huge number of people from Tamil Nadu are outside Tamil Nadu in various in Bombay, in the Dharavi area. There are thousands and thousands are there. There are many in Singapore, many in Malaysia, many in other parts, Middle East. So anything we do, which is very parochial here, will have a reflection. That is very, very important to note. It's not like Nagaland, where the Nagas outside Nagaland, even in India, is very, very minimal. So that was based upon a particular arrangement with Britain that time before they left Britain and the church. Anyhow, that is also now getting broken up because of the alliances with BJP and other things. Anyhow, that's so the most interesting part of the story is this: DMK has the ability to switch it on and switch it off. What is this? This type of agitation. Before they came to power, anti-Tasmak agitation was very major. Where everybody held a black flag and closing Tasmak. And Kanimuri used to say, young widows are increasing in Tamil Nadu due to this. And some people are opposing this four-lane road between Chennai and Salem. Some were opposing, Kudangulam. Some were opposing Sterlite. All these things. At once DMK come to power, they switch off all this agitation. That is their plus point. They control most of this agitation indirectly. And similarly, even the communist, they are able to buy silence. And there are reports telling they paid some 10 crore to CPM and 15 crore to CPI before the election. But now this particular thing, anti-North thing, is removing the platform under their feet, because this is the basis on which they have been doing politics for 70 years. I don't know whether you recall, before last poll, Kanimuri distributed thousands of T-shirts telling Hindi Teriyadu Poda.
இந்த தெரியாது கூட. ம்.
So I don't know Hindi is funny actually. Not knowing a language, what's the big deal about it? I don't know French. I don't know Swahili, and more important is Poda. Get lost. That is the punchline in that. So the anti-North Indian attitude is one of the critical thing for this DMK's existence for the last 70 years. Suddenly now it has turned the tide. They are not able to continue that, and some people are also instigating, or what in Tamil it is called usipification of Stalin, that you are a PM material. If he is a PM material, he has to travel to all other states, and he cannot take up these type of issues, anti-North, anti-Hindi, another thing. This is something. And this Tirumavadavan, one of his alliance partner, he says Stalin should travel all over the country. Everywhere he should go. See, he can't speak English, he can't speak Hindi, I do not know. He can't perhaps speak also fluent Tamil. Anyhow, so what he will do, nobody knows. But at the same time, he has to be very cautious in controlling this. So switch it on, switch it off thing about his own. So I think a huge churning is taking place in Tamil Nadu politics, if you ask me bluntly, and that is going to be very, very interesting. And along with the question you asked about this 60 lakh people, and they join the mainstream, and there is some complaint that they don't integrate well, no Tamil government should have created 100 centers in Tamil Nadu to learn Tamil in the evening time or in Saturday, Sunday, and other thing. They have not done anything like that. Why blame? But many of these people are picked up on their own, not based upon any thorough learning or anything. There was a program in Vijay TV where North Indians were asked to sit on one side, Tamils, so-called Tamils, and he used to write on the board many of the songs, expression. North Indian could read it fast and explain it. The so-called our Tamil students were not able to read it even. So there is a myth that these people are not. These people. In Madurai, I was in a vegetarian hotel. I was asking for some those. So that boy suddenly told, "Pudi idli nalla இருக்கும்." He is from Bihar actually. So that's something. So that they are not integrating, another thing is not. And the migrants all over the world have their own clusters, their own groups, and you can't blame it on them. Or say Indian migrants in the US, they have their own music thing, they have their own dance culture and other things. That doesn't automatically mean they are not merging. They are merging in other spheres and other things. So what I want to stress is the tectonic shift is taking place in Tamil Nadu today, whether one likes it or not. And a large number of business people of Tamil Nadu are also expanding to other parts of the country and vice versa. So the old rhetoric of the 60s and 50s and 60s won't work anymore. This anti-North, I'm telling you, you can't get 1 lakh people on the road on anti-Hindi today. That is the situation. It's a very totally changing society, changing type of aspirations and other thing for people. And very many people have understood that learning a bit of Hindi is helpful. Actually, if you go to other parts of the country, in talking, I'm not telling some great literature or something, conversing and understanding. So that is the. I think this will be very interesting to watch actually. For maybe we can have one more on this after a couple of months. How this has turned out, right?
Sure, sir.
So
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing your insights in this. It's great. Thanks again.